Hey everyone, it's the guy who found one of the worst games ever, and I'm not enjoying this. Anyways, we're playing Apollo Justice 4, and we're going into court on October 8th, 9:48 a.m. District Courtroom, Defense Lobby number 6, and yeah. So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy Wright. That's right, with the W. Not right, right? We're on your side. The fact that I'm able to do voicing properly is impressive enough at all. You can tell us anything, please. Well, I gotta do this for you. Good morning. She speaks. Wow. Not bad, not bad. But I think you'd do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to yourself, you know? Lucy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for taking my case. Okay, well that's a start. Okay. Who is the killer? I don't think we have them yet. But for all I know, it could be this. I feel like they're gonna get revealed next day because it's too obvious for it to be this guy. Right. I need to... Sorry. There she goes. With the nail polish. That's right. Really? So cultural. Come on. Want to try? Oh, really? Girl. Well, I can barely get up, but... Okay, October 8th, 10 a.m., District Court number 3. Well, we'll now, begin the, trial of Vera Misham. Is the judge okay? Nope, he's not okay at all. The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is a test of the jury system, and the first step toward a new order in our courts. Daddy's secret mission. Auto-saved immediately. The jurists will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras watch the courtroom at all times. It could work that there's juries here now, but I don't know how to feel. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurist, Judge Well, and Judge Cool. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was gonna say that. My apologies, Judge. Jurists, today, Judge today's trial, Cooley. If you would, please, oh God. The jurists are unbound by a letter of law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. And we're about to find out just how effective they are going to have to. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, the details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Nissan. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned by whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Nissan. There's no isn't any poison in the coffee. A cut. Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mugs. The mug residue was found on the rim. See? The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim. Hey, can we have the autopsy report, please? The court says. Okay, let's take a look at the autopsy report. Death by I'm not giving her so estimated time death was. Don't even remind me of the previous case. It is that previous case was 1 out of 10 because how the frick can you reasonably deduce that that man is not blind? Well, actually, they didn't say he was blind. They just. Oh my god. He was too small to carry a body to. Okay, enough about me rambling things. According to the officer, the victim defined. Okay, we already know. Chemical Okay, no. You know what? We're skipping this because we don't need to hear this. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirely. Oh boy, I can't wait. The journalist know. I sure hope I don't have to press in a specific way because it will make you do that. The witness will state his name and occupation. I really hope I don't have this. Right. Well, for starters, my name is brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world. I can't believe I have not noticed the fact that his nose can buzz. In other words, if you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Bruchel? I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make Park sandbox of endless desert waste, end quote. Oh, come on. But you're a journalist. You said yourself. Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today, a man with dreams. A dream. I am offering you my testimony. Okay, I guess you can tell us what your testimony is. Come on, tell us what your testimony is. I don't care what they're saying now. Okay, let's do this. Let's hold this easy. I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the outdoor journalistic history made any quotes. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next. Star falls and quotes. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. That does sound like a civil case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him. What are you lying? Need I remind you the cameras are rolling today? I felt it to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you? Oh my god, that does not sound... Mr. Come on, that's not... Newsmakers making the news, end quotes, or contrary, which... end quotes. I know, wild accusations, rock courtroom, end quotes. Rock indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having a fun time. I'm so happy for him. I'm not happy at all. Very well, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. Don't worry. I'm guessing just sooner or later we're gonna end this. Okay. There's something that jumped up me immediately, so I'm probably just gonna have to press everything. Also, you can't see my penalty board. 9 at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview? If the great painter Drew Misham says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9. The first, and as it turned out, the last interview with such a prolific painter. Right, can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? Okay, well, next. Man, you were doing the work. Okay, I'm shooting that because I'm stupid. Poetry will look back on the night of it's a turning point on journalistic history. Oh god, I'm liking this over. A basically insignificant step for all mankind, but a giant step for that brushel guy, end quote. If no one on the outside ever had existed, then it would severe to reason with the deal. Okay, which interviewer did it? So, how did this iconic making interview go? Okay, he's not. Well, I mean, you can see it now, but would you mind being more specific? Ooh, tell me what. In fact, that's not what I'm. Forget. I believe I know what your forehead is driving at. This coffee victim was serving. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right, that's what I was going to say. Well, now if you were got a question to ask, you... That's what I tell all the new recruits. Several times if necessary. Write a grade schooler. That's my motto. Which isn't to say I can only write. Who touched the coffee? I don't... But I thought you witnessed it. Okay, well this is pointless if he doesn't know. Okay, and I'm guessing... If I have... What's this about a star falling? Star falls... Huh. It's like an old telegram. Zowie, that... Oh my god. I'm guessing we're pressing something irrelevant. Important... But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter? Oh boy! This is good stuff. Good stuff. How about star beaks? Nah, locks punch. I know, star dies. Nah, locks... Okay. Well, Okay, I think we need to hear about this a little more. The moment of death, Brushel's office, the stars, copy. The moment of death. About Mr. Passed away. Oh boy, what a scene that was. He puts his coffee mug down with a crash, right? Yes, and then the cold finger of death touches his spine like flames and cold was that touch. He could do not, but terrible, uncontrollably. Wait, is there anything disappointing? Well, actually, Life Blames is a little tired. Life's river rose. Oh my, I think he's starting his article. Could you describe that a little more? Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say, artist's seizure, his final performance, and quotes. Atroca, it paralyzes the central nervous system. The body aches back like a boat. That's quite enough for that. Thank you. Oh yeah? Well, I want details, not to choose. Okay, well, we're gonna add this to your testimony. Okay, can we add this to his testimony? I want to add this. Very important. Well, as an account. Please add that to your testimony. Okay. Very well. The court requests the witness adds. What I'm guessing is that this is probably those spams that was definitely the cause. Spasms? Hold on. Specimens. Hold on, what? You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure? Hey, look, anecdotalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experiences with so-called poisonings. And eating fish. Okay, so... food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get... Oh. Oh, I get it. So it just changes every time he... Well, I mean... does it work like this? Yeah, but he definitely died by the poison, so I guess that's... So, you drank the coffee that Vera served you too? Of course, when someone serves you with coffee, you drink it. Okay, well, that's what my old boss always says, man. But you're still alive, which is to say you didn't die. Of course not. No point falling before you're a star. End quotes. That's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at then? You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee. Oh, yes. There were 2 cups of coffee on the tray she brought. And one of the cups had Drew's signature paint on this. Oh my god, this thing just stay on it. Oh, no chance. The guest wouldn't pick that one by mistake, I guess. Almost that's both very important. Let's just see what it changes to. We're talking about the coffee as well. Let's say it's very well, the place. Okay, well, let's hear about the coffee. I drank the coffee too, but I'm not dead or not dead yet. Well, you drank the coffee too, you're not dead yet. That's pretty much not a lie. Hold on, traces of this song acting. Okay, you know what, let's hear this last thing out of curiosity. Okay, please. Okay. That's what. Now let's ask the stars. You say Mr. Misham had the coffee too. Did you actually see him drink the coffee? Of course. He who sees it wins, but he... I live in a man seeing dog... Okay, so... Can you describe the cup? The man pulls a... He's quite vulnerable. My stomach is so close. Okay, sorry if I'm not acting because maybe I would find something to venture. Does this guy? Okay, Yarn. Well, very well, the witness. I feel dumb for not realizing this sooner, but he had one sip of that. Next one, he was. Hold on. This poison's so acting. If he really just took one sip and fell to the floor immediately, he would have died immediately. You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison. It's always the last thing that I choose, which is pretty unlucky for me. Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. A lethal damage of 0. Less is the... If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would have been reduced to... Why are you using my... Because he hates prosecutors because of the last case when we had decisive enough. Okay, unfortunately, we weren't told anything. There was a final omission in prosecutor Gavin's information. An omission? But the depth doesn't quite. Yeah, we know. If he really did drink one sip of it, why is he just immediately died? What? According to one saying scientist, I've seen mobile users with, just for the first part, be able to speed up. Like, why come in the Switch? You have to take your time. Like, but I don't get why I have to wait so long. If he was supposed to, at the moment Mr. Misham sipped his coffee, was doing this thing, and he was still then sometimes just So yeah, this. Oh my god, that image of him was. Yeah, what's the meaning of this? What if the defense says, why is the contradiction to the town just we just heard? Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record? So, well, it is a verbal, alright. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws in the journalist. He's working on the scoop. Of course it is. It's brushel, Ja. If brushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subtle suggestion. End quotes. I don't care anymore about what you have to say about end quotes. Tell us the issue. I admit it does cause a problem if he died when he says he died. It would be forced to say, reader, it's just my simple case. And you be to say farewell to article. Come again? You can't write a story based on the juror, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up on the scent, and you'll be forced to guess the executive scoop. Goodbye. Scoop. What is he even doing? This pose is like Donkey. You're not Donkey Kong. You're just. We're waiting. Wait! Out with it! I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. Oh boy! Conveniently when we caught you. Let's hear this detail, shall we? I said, let's hear this detail. Let's not talk about attorney utteral conspiracy or whatever the frick it just said, because I don't care about that. I want to hear. I'd heard of poisons that take its sweet time, but that's not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened? Please tell us. Please. I can't wait. Just tell us what it is. I don't care. Or what you have to tell us what this detail is. I don't care what they're. I figured. Did they already talk about it? Hold on. The antidote for a poisonous gun. No, they didn't. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned the coffee. Order. As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his own testimony that Mr. Mishap died the instant after he drank. Of course, standing by my testimony and my dreams. No one cares about your dreams. You're in the veil, like this game is. I suppose it was much of what was. Of course, he wouldn't choose a simple case, not him. Phoenix Wright. Who else? Oh, come on. Brushel, report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed? Oh, now we're gonna finally notice. I thought they mentioned it like a while ago, that's why. But they still haven't. Why? Just tell us. Of course, first. Afraid, no room. Okay, so testify about what you saw immediately, so we can end this already. Okay, what Brushel noticed. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed that envelope. Is it this letter? I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note? Nope. No, stop doing that game. Stop it. He was writing this. No. And papers. He wasn't. You didn't see him writing. You saw him looking at this. No, that's not true. He wasn't committing. I can't believe it. No, he wasn't committing suicide. Unfortunately. But imagine if it was. Very well, you may begin the question. I've only had to investigate one suicide case in a video game, but I won't say it because... Okay, he seems to be writing a letter, but it quickly sealed. So he put the letter away when he's... All you early reporters get warm and quotes. That's my secret. Oh boy. I'm not sure what's... I'm not oh boy because of that line. I'm oh boy because I'm sweating already. It's only been... Whatever. It's night of the interview. I have 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens. I barge in. Are you sure that... Okay. Did he actually write or not? Sure seemed to think so. You should have... He cracked his letter into the yellow envelope. I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one. Wait. Well... It's a red envelope. No, that's the autopsy report. Damn it! Great, now I'm unsure. I wonder, it does have... I guess we can have that testimony. The defense finds this testimony from... Very well, at least after here's testimony that... Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge. Oh, sure it does. It was a yellow... I heard it was left at the crime scene. But we didn't find one at the crime scene. And you saw him seal up this yellow envelope with a letter. Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw. Apollo, you think this might be our big break? Yeah. Well, I need to show some decisive evidence now. Okay, well, this was a yellow envelope I heard, but I heard it was a... Well, I mean, it's not yellow, but it kind of is red, but it's red, not yellow. As it just so happens, there was a single letter in the desk drawer, and a red envelope. Oh, well, I mean, I can kind of see this contradiction because it's pretty obvious as a lie, because yellow and red are not the same color. Well, unless if you want to mix it together, but that's gonna take a while. Oh, okay, back to track. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes? Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Oh, now you ask this question, not in the testimony, but nah. Unfortunately, no, but Hammerhead, it was easy to mistake the color of an envelope. Nah, I don't think so. But not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Brushel, I can explain that. Drew, right, he was to get that envelope into the... Oh, okay, get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crept away. And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction crap? Well, Mr. Justice, have you... Yes, I do! Okay, that night the victim... Okay, hold on, let me read it again. That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. Impossible. That's impossible. I like your expression. So full of confidence. Oh, come on. It's simple, really. I'm upset because I didn't feel like clever. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Missam. I feel like you should have mentioned that, but whatever. Oh, why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself? What would have happened if I said it was possible? Would I have taken damage, like, with the medication in the third? Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court? Oh, my. How could I forget this? I suppose this happens to be the best of the best. Reporter get old forgets. Lots and score. Oh my god. I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel. Yeah, because you literally don't. Aw, frickin' Dr. Hottie music again, because of course we couldn't forget that. Granted, he might have... No, he actually didn't. Well, that's the thing. See, after he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Brushel sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Can you tell us what that something is? His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp. And, quote, a stamp, whatever, sure. Well, to nail his letter, what else? And then, why, yes, I think I saw him put it in his letterbox. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box. Okay, well, should we investigate that? Well, apparently, this yellow letter has nothing to... Oh, how I wish it did. Just think of that or a suicide note. What a story. Oh, do you have it? Why are you bringing that up? Yeah, I don't even think I need to read that part because it's already said. Yes, Your Honor? It makes me wonder about the contents of the red envelope. We've already seen this. Can we move on? Can we move on? I've already 3D printed it. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money. Well, I mean, you are about to catch a $100,000 loan in the third game, so I don't know why you jump with joy. So, this is what, 7 years ago, Ja? So, am I finished here? I mean, I'm finished here? I was thinking of, going home to start writing. Nah, you ain't allowed to go anywhere. We still have 2 more witness testimonies we have to do and a whole lot of who knows what. Like, freaking... Because there's no way we just end with 2 testimonies. I hate to state what I should be pretty obvious to anyone. When you catch the story, you make that rather unique face. Attorney has active imagination. Little unless... Well, oh my god. Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't... I'm starting to understand what all this... Judge has active imagination, end quotes. Not funny, Apollo. Not funny at all. See? Tell us about the sin of the story. Okay, here comes another testimony. And we got 1 more, because there's always 4 witness testimonies. I've counted pretty much all of them. Well, I mean, I think there were only 3 in, Game 1, Case 4, the 2nd day, or the 3rd day of the trial. Actually, it took a bit of works to get a thumbs up on an interview. Reporters leverage his story, get his news, and quotes. Okay, well, the story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. No, because he's been thinking it this whole time. So you threatened to owe to the president. That's how you got to... Okay. Yeah, no, it totally was blackmail. I'm not reading that part because it's just so obviously. I just want to get to the cross-examination. We don't need to do this. Oh, you Okay, so what if some Wally... I know I'm not voicing press all going on. The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up on the pace. A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? Oh, wow. Okay, now we're at the cross-examination. Let's get this over with. I think we... So. Oh, frick. I'm looking through the camera, and oh, frick, we got this ability. Why else would this be here unless, of course, it was... Okay, well... Can we proceed here? Oh boy. Seem to do well. What? Okay, well, that's clearly... I like this. Drew's... Okay, I... I... I don't really... Is it the finger? Okay, it's not this one. Come on. What? Am I just really this? Wait, what was that? Oh, come on. So obvious. It's somewhere here. Why is this so hard to tell now? Oh my god. So I wonder what's gonna be. Because I... Oh, wow. So, in case you just... I couldn't figure this one out because how the frick am I supposed to figure it out? And so I just had to look up it up. Like, maybe, because I have been stupid about this game before. But, there's just no excuse. How the hell was I supposed to see an armpit leak? How the hell was I supposed to see that? How the frick was I supposed to... How the... That is not my fault. Because I literally... You have to be so hyperistic to see that. No, frick this. Okay, it's more than that. I'm so... You're hiding something about his talent. Yeah, because we know what it is. And it's time. Let's show Mr. Marshall his... It just so happens I have evidence showing the talent of the mentioned... It's the landscape, hidden photo, because... Found in the this painting was found in the Miss Ham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first was painted by Mr. Miss Ham. The second one is that there was another painting which looked exactly like this one, except it was on. Oh, that's it. My love for this. I don't care anymore. We're speaking through this. We already know. We already know this. Because literally, how was I supposed to see that? His shirt was white, and so was that. That is all, Your Honor. My God. Everyone, please, everybody, can we... No, because you literally had to... This is why I don't like that show people's secrets in a game where you're trying to find a murderer. Because we can just solve this within 50 seconds. Trace our crime. Drew Misham is known as an artist these days, but there were rumors he dabbled in another kind of art in a few years back. Another art meaning forgery? Drew Misham was talented at making precise details mistakes, a fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover. Criminal elements? What? You can't be serious. Be talking about... Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. Rumors stated calculating 7 years ago. 7 years ago? So are we understanding that this letter, this payment $100,000 was for? Exactly. Forging evidence next. Like... Why? It's like our victim was living a double life. Aha, this is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation. And the fact that I'm still providing voices is a miracle within itself at all. But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possible some legal activity. But there's no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was, and remains, simple from the very beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned the mug that night. And of course, the only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing interviews. I don't care about that. And this is the last. It doesn't speak for your point. Word time. Were you taking... Okay. Let's hear you summarize every time. When I'm done with this, I really want to play Tone Life instead of this crap. Not GTA 6 because I literally have to verify my age in order to play that game. And I don't want to do that. Because it's just... As long as there's no... And the killer has to be... This next testimony is our last chance. Okay, here's the last testimony. Let's hope we don't have to see his armpits again. Because that would be pretty annoying. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She admitted as much herself. Well, the only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left that studio after he died. So nothing left the studio, huh? Well, I mean, except this. But that's on Vera, so we really don't have any. It's the only other thing I can see that clearly the only one who could have poisoned him was his... So he's saying that nothing else left. But if nothing else left, then how do you explain that? Okay, so a nice testimony, clearly... Okay, can we just get to the cross-examination? I think I want to hear more about, like, either nothing. Not because I'm going to listen to... But... Okay, I still have one trump card left. Time... Play. Oh boy. Okay, well... I won't let this try. Sometimes I'm good at this game, sometimes I'm pretty terrible at this game. Okay, the only other person that could know was Vera who poured the coffee in a minute herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was the mug. That's true. Nothing else at the studio, so that's false. And we're gonna press on that because I can't say for sure that. Not one thing, you're sure. Yep, sure as can be. Well, with one exception. One exception, what? Journal sparking social does exist in the studio, and it's quotes. That is not helpful, even in the slightest. Come on. It's a joke, get it? No, you are not funny. Especially when I had to check your armpits to find a secret. That is not funny at all. Oh my god, did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound unfamiliar? Where have I heard something like that before? Now then, we've proven the witnesses are coming. I'd like to turn our... Do you have any idea what if anything... This is probably where I get my game over, but just in case. So, the defendant's business card. The address here from Juicy. This was found in Vera, but it's kind of Vera's thing, so we can't really prove that. And wait, I thought I had something with that there, but I don't. And oh my god. So, Drew Misham's contact with the outside world. It's empty. It's an empty letterbox. And we have this, which we found at the prison, but... This right here is... Okay, found it. It's completely empty, so something could have been stolen from here. Is literally what I've only got. Which I just now looked at again. Yes. And the pain of a bit of... Only thing I have left. Welp. Let's present it. Let's see if I get penalized for it. Thank God. What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter. Yeah. So... Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, he did write... Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The very same letterbox was empty. In other words, the killer took the letter. Yeah. Okay. Ah, yes. Intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. How? Oh, come on. Oh, is it because it's just an envelope? It could be anything. What if it's a motive for someone else's? We need to find this envelope. He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here was how it really is important that the witnesses. Oh, yes. Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me. Very well, then. The witness will add that to his testimony. I still think that this fails to change anything, Forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. The letter disappearing from the crime scene that night is exactly the opening. Also, we still gotta continue with the testimony, so let's see. A letter was put in this... Okay, so a letter was put in this post from the studio, but I hardly think that matters. You know what? Let's ask him why you hardly think it matters. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from the studio. And you were hiding that fact from us. Yes, well, actually... I don't argue the possibility that a letter disappeared from the studio, Ja, but your Forehead, isn't there a much more serious question before us? Well, right, how Mr. Misham was poisoned, I know, but Mr. Brushel's testimony has changed, which means the fact of the case has too. But what he has told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think it. Let's keep thinking, Apollo. Clearly... The one who could have poisoned him was his daughter. Well, if it really was, then why haven't we found the letter? Okay, well... Okay, Mr. Chu, I've deposited the $100,000 in the just for sign the papers and send in the enclosed envelope with the envelope with the 3 sentences. In 3 days, I do not remind you to speak of this to anyone. Wait a sec. Hold on, Hold on. Oh my god. Yeah, I think I just figured it out, and I think you all probably know what I'm gonna say. If that envelope had what they just said, the signed paperworks, then whoever sent this to would probably have a motive for killing this guy. As the envelope is gone, is what I'm guessing, because they either took it or... Well, that was a lucky statement, but... You know, instead of me trying to think this through, I'm just like... I just don't... After that armpit incident, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna speed right through. Okay, so... You know what? The only thing that touched... Sure, it was just the planets, because that's the poison. Oh. Oh, that's you're the one. Okay. Which reason you're the and from where did that come from? Not in the north. Okay. And you, Mr. Point. I can... Okay, the copy of the point. I'm just what? Okay, haha. The last part was... I think I'm going down with this copy. If I know what's going on. Oh, wait, it's not... Wait, it's not there. Oh, no, wait. It's the record button's just blocking it off. You were sure about this? To be really... What was busy gobbling means? Okay, so... Times out, hard no refresh. And there's no minutes for shows. It was a long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. Do you think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than the coffee? Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some possibility is there, I can feel it. Maybe just impossibility isn't good enough to cut now. Sure, it's the point. Well, we pretty much... Well, there's also some on this here, so I can prove it. Actually, I can prove it, actually, right now. Oh, come on! Don't you dare give me the double penalty. Nah. Okay. So I'm writing the letter. It's picked up by mailman, assure you. Yes, of course, which means... Oh, I still want it. As come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to... by licking the stamp. Yeah. No one worth to actually lick stamps. Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all. Okay, so he licked the stamp, but wait, how does this explain the answer? Okay, well, he licked on the back stamp, but what would then happen if he took out the coffee mug? Those traces of the mug weren't the killer's doing, it was the other way around. The coffee mug didn't point... Okay, well... Order! But that doesn't... does it? Recall if you would, atropine is a slow-acting poison, yes? If the poison entered his body when he put the stamp on the envelope, but this time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips. Well, he's just snapping his fingers, because of course he is. And he's just running. Who knows what the frick it... Stop that! Stop that! I'm just... You don't deserve to be the comedic of me after you make me investigate your armpits. I'm never gonna let that go, because how the frick was I supposed to figure that out? His nose is pickling up his head. as I believe I mentioned it earlier. Well, that's the thing. See, after putting the sat searching his. Yeah, yeah. The stamp got in with the picture frame. That's why. Incidentally, we searched the desk. Hold on, what did he say? Just run out. Maybe just run out. But now, I don't seem to remember even finding one. There were no stamps. Not a single one. That does pose a problem. How will you prove that the poison stamp was coated with poison? Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene of the crime. Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of the poison stamp? Simple. 2 inches. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of the stamp? Pretty simple, actually. Oh, wait. Okay, either this or this, because I was gonna say this, but let's. Yeah, not gonna deny it now. And actually, now that I think about it, if you look at it, it looks like a stamp if you actually look at it now. So yeah, we got it right. It was on the victim's test yard. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed it too during my inspection, so what? Apparently you weren't as observant as you have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it wasn't missing something. Wait, missing something? Yes, a pale bluish stain on the side of the frame. Internet residue. What? Why wasn't I told about this? The frame is only 2-inch squares in the face of the frame, even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You aren't saying? Yep, we're saying that. Oh, but I am. I'm telling you what fits in such a small frame. A competent stamp, perhaps? Oh boy. Order, order, order! The poisoned stamp was in this frame? Impossible! Prosecutor Gavin, why would he put something like this on his desk? Don't tell me he had it in there so he could commit suicide. If the mood struck. Can I say something? I had thought. See? What, Mr. Brushel? And please stop jittering around like that. The victim was a forger, right? There was a lot of money in the line of forgers. Forges friends makes enemies too. End quote. So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at. Oh, yeah. It's your thing you do. Which is guitar and then oh, rich, that's rich. Even the ridiculous flights of fantasy to the Gavineers. Song lyrics please. I don't know why I kept saying concert. Finally, something we could agree on. The stab was a murder weapon. Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again? Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew missed him hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was mail. Now, if you wanted to kill someone, you couldn't meet, but you knew reading language. Except would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof. Show us evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I might not have this evidence per se, but things are finally starting to come. What is that, Apollo? Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Misham was killed. Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice. A certain piece of evidence points to... Okay, let's We're gonna figure it out first. Not this, not this, not this. Maybe this, but not this. Not this, not... Possibly this, not this. We already used this, so probably not this. Not this, not this, because all this was in Lou's room. And not this because it's just an autopsy report. Well, crap. I have no idea what it could possibly be. So we're screwed. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill sent Mr. Misham the stamp. How did someone send? It's just the letterbox? Because... What? What? But... Okay, I'm sorry, but like... Literally, it's his own... Literally. Oh, frick. Was I... Well... Except the killer would be... your judge. Oh my god. Consider the warning. Well, I'm glad I wasn't double penalty because I would be pretty screwed. Let me think this over one more scene. This, not this, not this, because... So we got 3 things and 2 health because I idiotically decided, hey, let's present some evidence when I have save on. So I'm inclined to believe that's one of these 2. I'm gonna present the letter first. Isn't that the envelope? Oh my god. Oh my freaking god. Nope, you're not gonna get excited about this. This was easy. Even though it wasn't. Think about the text of the letter again. Yeah, we already see this. Or 2 of them. It says... Yeah. Sign the paper with sense of grace. This page 2. I wanted to draw your attention to the one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamps within 3 days. Enclosed stamp, Your Honor. In other words, if I have this straight, the stamp wasn't on the stamp. Lick, gas, and quotes. Oh god, I still hate doing your voice for making me investigate your armpit. Oh my god. I'm never gonna get over that because I'm never gonna get over that stupid nitpick because, you know what, at least I didn't get any penalized for that. At least I didn't get penalized for refusing it. I will give it that. At least I didn't get penalized for not checking his letter. When he... 15 minutes wouldn't have ink slips between the snaps, but the clock started ticking, and when the time caught, he drew this last breath, and the murder weapon would be taken from the... What it's... Thanks. Oh, you're doing that, so I guess you want me to prove something. I'm guessing. Such a splendid imagination you have, Air Forehead. Want more proof? Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago. Ja? Is that what you have us believe? Well, is it a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? A poison stab in this envelope? A stab that then became a murder weapon? How would you intend to prove this seemingly coincidence? Well, it was 7 years ago, and we don't even have... Who said that one? And your answer is silent. I see. Very well, I move to. It's not nice to pick on the... Well, klaviers. Ugh. What the fr... Wait, who said that? Oh. Oh. Oh, I thought it was the prosecutor. Emma Sky, what do you have to tell us? Like Christoph Gavin? Oh boy, no I don't. No, I don't like Christoph Gavin. Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking for? Fool on, detective. Someone had to come dig your way out of this mess. You're making all this mess. You know, none of this world, and of course this music's playing. I just prefer the normal, other than this crap. If you trust in your science. Oh my god. This game is making me not want to follow the rules. You can find out if you stamped what was in here. Care to explain yourself, full-on detective? Do I have to cross-examine her now? Clear at me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the residues, right? That's right. The poison detection's right. Produce the red envelope at once. You can open it on authority of the court. Oh. Oh, great. I love it. At least this was easier than the last time, where it's bullcrap that I have to point out back off. Well, would you look at that? No mistake in it. That's... that poison, I'm not gonna... I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, there's the frame. Oh great, what do you want? Absolutely outrageous! Tell me why! Tell me why! Why didn't you... this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Misham figured it out. Figured it out? He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted it dead, so he sent his reply with a different stamp, and put his evidence in front. Ah, you're still here? Yeah, can you get out of here? We don't want you anymore. Can I make a statement here, No, you can't. Not after you made me investigate your armpits. Still. Don't forget, I just need to forget about that. Just need to forget about that detail, because... oh, damn you. Get out. Never come back. Ever again. Go to prison, actually. Go to prison and turn yourself in. Say you committed a murder, because I don't even think you had her. Because there's no... I spark. Rusa hits. Brushel claims this... I have never been more mad at a person in my life than this. He's making me very angry. Okay, I shouldn't have to judge him. I'm not... okay, you should never judge someone because they look terrible. But... I just knew. I'm just... okay. By December of 7 years... maybe something more scientific starts after 7 years of life. There's no way I could have ever have seen. I don't even think I need to explain this. I see no room for further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming from the thing that the murder weapon was. After 7 years, stamp is take it straight from her. Uh-oh, I think the witness is a bad influence on her. I see no reason to further debate on this matter. The sender of the letter 7 years ago could hardly have... Apollo, I think we just won. Very well, this court finds the defendant... Oh, let me guess. If it's not the defendant, then who is the killer, bruh? Is this the bright future of our legal system? Prosecutor, Gavin? I take it to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Take it for Gavin years show are invalidated after 2 weeks, but it doesn't make sense any. It boggles me that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in your forehead's claim. Oh, come on. What is this contradiction? The poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago. Whereupon... Actually, that it actually makes sense. Because if the stamp was in that letter, why was it sticking on the frame? If that's the case, then why did Drew... What did he do? Emma explained that. He must have a reason, unless it was poisoned. Therein lies... Oh, tell me, let me guess, is it because of suicide? They're gonna say, 7 years ago, the forger Drew Misham sensed a trap and put the stamp on a frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why 7 years later did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Surely, you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Misham simply forgot? He put the murder weapon in the frame on the desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprayed the trap on himself? Well, I mean, suicide's always an option. Don't. No. Well, if the victim actually ended up harming himself, that would be an interesting twist. While I. Oh, no. Well, I meant all the quiet shock of myself. It does seem highly unlikely that he would fall upon. That had been saying. Oh, I don't think we're winning anymore. I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you. Ooh. Okay then, how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? The poison stamp? There's exactly in this poison stamp. Again, have you brought to the court? I see no proof that such a thing ever existed. What about the entourage residue in the frame? I agree. That does seem to be entourage residue, but her forehead, it's certainly no stamp. But even if you precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Misham never would have used it. That is all. I believe we have come to a conclusion here again. Apollo, where are we going to? Okay. I can't believe it. The poison trace matched up. It can't be a coincidence. Because it isn't. Looks like I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice, yes, Your Honor. Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Misham received this envelope, and there were traces of the poison picture on its document. A similar trace was also found in the crime scene on this tiny picture of the crime. The events has instantly possible of a yellow envelope that left the seal of the crime with the poison stamp. Ah, my head hurts when I'm trying to read fast. Yes, but even if this envelope contained a poison stamp, Drew Misham knowing this, put this in a frame, he never would have seen the stamp. I'm afraid you're right. Which means there is a fatal flaw in the event's mechanics. I haven't been on the wrong track this whole time. I'm sure of it. The traces of extra mountains, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Misham, mysterious. They're all connected somehow. What was Justice? Do you have a conclusion for us? The event stands by this case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of the clues is a fake. Ah, a fake? Fascinating. And if we find this fake, your wild fantasies, will you approve the reasons? Yeah, the fake that throws off the case. Okay. So, do I get penalized for it? I don't see any penalty bars. So, the red envelope, well, it has the stamp in there, so it's not this. Drew Misham, or the frame. Well, I mean, we found it on the... So, a fake clue that throws off the poison trail. Drew Misham? The victim was a fake clue? I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked to the poison. That all makes sense. What does make sense is the victim himself. Congratulations, you completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master like. It makes a good story, I'll give you that. Fake clue. Fakes. Forgeries. I know that face. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going to do it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again? 7 years ago, the forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbled into it, that very same trap and dies. Why? That's what I want to know. Wow, he's... Whatever he does think is very little, because everyone else kind of... That's pretty interesting. Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we go again. The victim was a fake? Oh yeah. One forger smelled the trap, one forger fell into the trap. That's two forgers, and one of them was a fake. Oh, well, that's... I actually didn't think about that, if you're wondering, because I literally don't care anymore about this, thinking about this game. Order! So, you're telling us that the victim, Drew Misham, was a fake? I read that backwards, but I don't care. Well, if he was the fake, who was the real forger? The victim. You better not be claiming that there was some other kind of shit true. It's switcher, not that word. I'm afraid you're going to have to back into your story. Judges, show us just who the real victim is. If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could have been. Hold on. Let me read that again. If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person who could have been. Okay, well, not you, because you guys are here. No way. Not you. Well, we are assuming that you're the forger. Not you. No way! Remember in the last episode? The last part of the last episode? Whatever you want to call it? How I said, hey, maybe that's the victim. Oh, you wonder what? I think I just figured out who the actual forger was. The real forger was. We're actually going with this. This would make a good quest. I'll give it that. But you wanna know what's the problem? So, let me explain why I think it's her. At the beginning, she fell. Well, hold on. Do I lose health if I... It can only be one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger known as Drew Misham was none other than his only daughter, Vera Misham. Oh my god. I'll give it that. That's a clever twist, but there's just one problem. How did they mess that up? There's a autopsy report. Literally autopsy report. How? Order. Mr. Justice, this is going to be out of the law. I kind of agree. I mean, Vera is a forger. Let's consider it before you... If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in the studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in the trap 7 years later. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the forge trap wasn't... Oh, wait. Oh! Never mind. I was gonna say that the daughter was the... But... I get it. The one who wasn't... The one who opened the envelope wasn't her, but... Oh my god, so... Let me explain what's gonna happen. Why I think the game is making me... The game... I thought that the victim was the daughter, really, and it was just... But what they're actually thinking is that the one who opened the letter wasn't Drew Misham, but Vera. And, yeah, and then he found the stamp on the frame, and he was gonna send it to that... Poor thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger studio. There's Drew Misham's and the Vera Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility. By process of elimination, the forger was Vera Misham. Well, fascinating. So, conclusion, Vera was the one who got her father killed. To sum it up quickly, Vera Misham, you've been paying attention to the child so far? Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger, Drew Misham? Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by Fulon, believe me. Though they usually talk to me, too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes. So, she was the one who forged. So forger Drew Misham assault you? Yes, it was me. What? So, the court was in an uproar and it wasn't coming down. We have to break... Well, okay. I'm gonna say this right now. I get it much. So, I get it mostly, not all of it. So it makes sense. So, I mean, I guess what I really hate is why the frick did I have to investigate that guy's armpits? That really is the one thing I really hate. I might find more problems, more things I hate, more things I like, the more I think about this case. But for now, that's kind of... I mean, this is pretty much... Well, that was it for this episode. Don't know if we're gonna be continuing court or... Well, let's see. Thank you all for watching this video. Goodbye. I really don't have anything else to say. I could explain a lot more, but I just don't know where to begin.